family, and welcome to Women of a Particular Age podcast, where we discuss women's views, life lessons, and a little bit of sugar honey iced tea. How are you guys doing? Folks, listen, I picked two movies that are wonderful, they're loving, they're kind, and I believe because of the state of our atmosphere right now, we need two movies that are inspiring, that are loving, and show compassion. So let's get into it. Give me a moment and let's get into the first movie, which is, look at this, y'all. This movie is called Soul on Fire. Now, let's get the description of this movie. Soul on Fire is a 2025 American biography drama. It's about John O'Leary, a real life St. Louis native who survived fire burns which covered his entire body. Whoo! Family, family. If you have not seen this movie, get off of here, go to Netflix, and go look at this movie right now before you even listen to this. Now, you guys know I don't ever spoil it for you, so I'm not going to give you too much of it. But let's talk about it. This young man you see on here who is portraying this person, his name is Joel Courtney. And in the movie, he is John O'Leary. John O'Leary is a young man who finds himself in a little pickle. He sees some other people doing something and he decides to do it himself. And that changes his life forever. Meaning that John is out playing one day and he meets up with these young men who are out there playing with fire. Well, they didn't want him to play with fire with them, so John decides to go home and play with fire by himself, which in turn gets him burned over 100% of his body. Now, I'm not going to tell you anything else because once you go see the movie, it sounds terrible in the beginning, but as once you see the movie go along and you see how God works in this movie, because this is a Christian-based movie. You see how God works in the movie. You see all the different people that come into John O'Leary's life, and they inspire him, and they keep him grounded, and they uplift him. Family, from the beginning to the end, you see God's hand. You see love. You see mercy. You see grace. This is an awesome movie. I wish it, once again, I'm going to tell you, I always say, I wish I had seen it when it first came out, but thank God I've seen it. This movie is on Netflix. It is an hour and 52 minutes. It is a PG movie. It is directed by Sean McMahon, and it was written by Gregory Poirier. Now, John O'Leary is a real person. So there is a book about this movie, and there, of course, this is this movie. Let's talk about some of the actors. Let me give you some of the names. Now, the main character is Joe Courtney. His girlfriend in here will be Massey McLean. His nurse will be Devin Franklin. And Devin Franklin is he's a big popular producer director. And then you have William H. Macy. Everybody knows who he is. He's been in so many series and movies. There's no way you can miss him in here. So I'm telling you, if you haven't seen this, go see it. It's awesome. It's on Netflix. It is a wonderful, wonderful movie. Okay? Now, let's get into the next movie. Let's get into it and let's find a picture. And this movie is Prime, I Like Me. Ooh, this one is a good one. Now let's get the description. John Candy, I Like Me is a 2025 American documentary film directed by Colin Hanks and is a portrait of a Canadian actor who is John Candy. Folks, this movie, I have to tell you, this movie in so many different parts was inspiring. It pulled at your heart. You saw real life family interactions. You saw things that Mr. Candy dealt with, But at the end of it, he was a grand man. That's all I can say. That's what Dan Aykroyd called him. That's what he seemed like in this movie. Now let's talk about it. The director was Colin Hanks. If you don't know who Colin Hanks is, he is the son of Tom Hanks. Everybody knows who Tom Hanks is. He's been in so many different movies and he's directed as well. And the producer on this movie was Ryan Reynolds. Oh, I love Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds helped with this movie as well. Now, let's talk about John Candy. Folks, not only was John Candy a comedian, he was a writer, he was an actor, he was a businessman, he was a good friend. And guess what? He also helped produce movies. I want you guys to know that John Candy was good friends with John Hughes. John Hughes and John Candy produced and directed so many different films. But guess what? I bet you there's one film that you didn't know that John Candy had his hand in. And guess what that movie was? Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Come on. Anybody who is a Gen Xer like me, you know about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So once you hear that, I think you can imagine John Candy helping John Hughes with this movie. Now let's talk about some descriptions of this movie. Now this is movie biography. It was, let's see, it was about an hour. Say it was about 2 hours. It talked about his family, it talked about him, his growing up, and it talked about his adult life. It talked about his interaction with his children, and it talked about his interaction with his friends. I don't want to tell you all the star-studded people who are in this film with him and talk about his character. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And the reason why I don't want to do it, because folks, I want you guys to go and see it yourself. You got to go and see it yourself. It really was a good biography. The movie is good. The biography is good. And once again, both of these are both light, they're loving, and they're inspiring. All right, we got through it. So listen, before you leave, please like, share, and subscribe. jollystudios@gmail.com, www.jollystudios.com. Family, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on the ride. I am going to have maybe 2 or 3 more movies for you next week. So be ready. Listen, chef's kisses, keep praying. And whatever you see out there, just know it's a mirage because God has his hand on everything. I love you guys. Take care. We'll talk soon. Peace.